All right, we good? All right, everyone knows the rules. Please keep your mics muted except when asked or answering a question. Use the mic to speak for those that are in the room. There's a feature in the room, meeting on Zoom, where you can raise your hand if you have a question. All questions must be on the topic. You have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. Okay, for the sake of time. All right. So weeks ago, I went over this with you guys about what happened in the garden. Basically, there's a progression from the garden out of the garden. The ultimate goal is to get us back into the garden. Everyone remember that lesson, that story? Right? So if not, remember it says they're here, and Elohim blessed them. Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish, as it says in the King James, the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So remember that the key to this was be fruitful and multiply, right? And we see this constantly in the garden, out of the garden, all the way up to the end, right? So we're going to take a look at some of those today. So the first one, it says, Yebarech utam, which literally just means bless them, right? So the first thing that has to happen in anything that the Father does, or if we're speaking on behalf of the Father, is you need to have Yahuah's blessing. Don't go out there doing your own thing, finding your own ways and your own doctrines and all this other crazy stuff, right? The first thing he did was bless them and then told them to be fruitful and multiply. The fruit and multiply, we know that there's also later on, which you'll see synonymous with generations, descendants. We also know the fruit, dealing with the fruit of your lips. We know that the fruit, the seed is the word, and by that you're producing fruit, and that's to multiply, make talmudim later on, which we'll not talk about today. But just notice how this fruit works and how what started in the garden all of a sudden comes out the garden, and it hasn't been fulfilled yet. So therefore, that's why it's still active now. The next thing it says, be fruitful and multiply. We already know that. Next is fill or replenish the earth, right? Everyone's familiar with this. Subdue it. We'll talk about what that means in a minute. Technically, we'll talk about all of these points. Have dominion over all living thing that moves on the earth. Or do. All right. So the first thing we're going to start with, obviously, is bless. Bless is also curse. It's the same word for bless. It's also the same word for curse. Question, why? You want to know why? Think about it. If you're doing what he says, bless. If you don't, so when do you get this? When it becomes a blessing or curse for you? Huh? A blessing or a curse is when you what? Okay.
Based on what you do.
Right. Right. So that must means it's with something for that to happen. A covenant. If you agree to the covenant, blessings. If you're not in that covenant, what does it got to do with you? Right? So everyone understands what I'm saying? If it has nothing to do, their Father gives out blessings, right? It's Shaitan, his king. He gives out blessings. He didn't say, hey, there's a blessing and a curse if you don't listen, right? All his is blessed as long as you do what he say do, with no conditions, so to speak, other than don't do what the Father say do. All right, so blessings, curse, praise. To bless in the Tanakh means to endow with power for success, prosperity, longevity. I'm talking about prosperity teaching, which we'll see later on. So before we can do all that he wants us to do, we must get his blessing first. So from his blessings, we get power, success, etc. Meaning, bless you go out, bless you come in, everything you put your hands to, that's what you'll get, providing you stick to the covenant. All right. Then the word for fruit, the word there is para, right? For the verb is used 29 times in the Tanakh, most often in Genesis, 15 times. Para appears 22 times in the call stem 7 times in Hitfield mean to make fruitful, meaning you're going to cause something to happen. Quite often it appears in conjunction with the word rabah, which means to increase or it means to multiply. We'll see an example of it in Jeremiah 3:16. But before we do that, I want to read these here. So it says, Jeremiah 23:3 says, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whether I have driven them. Question, what do you mean? I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries we have driven them. Who is that? Right. So who's going to do that? Okay. So sometimes people have a understanding that when it says Yahuah is going to do it, that means he's coming down to you personally, and he's going to take you on the other side, or he's going to come down with a spaceship. He's going to beam you up, Scotty, or you're just going to blink, and next thing you know, you'll be on the other side of the land, or he has given you a way in which this is going to happen. We're going to see one of many today, okay? But mind you, he's going to gather the remnant of his flock out of all country, whether he has driven them, and will bring them again to the folds. What's the folds? Folds is it's a pasture. Okay. He's going to bring you to the folds, a pasture, a place. He says, and there shall be fruitful and increase, right? You're going to be fruitful and increase. And that's what I'm saying. You're going to see this language throughout the whole time as we keep going forward. Zechariah 8:12. This is, for there shall be a sowing of peace. The vine which gives its fruit, and the ground shall give its produce, and the heavens shall give their due. And I will cause the remnant of his people to possess all things. He's going to cause something to happen. Now, is he going to do it, or is he going to cause it to happen? Okay, so we'll see a little later. All right. The interesting one is in Psalm 58:11, where it says, mankind will say, surely there's a reward for the righteous. Surely there is an Elohim who judge on the earth. Now, we saw the word there, para, we see it's translated as fruit, fruitful. What other word is it translated for in Psalms 58:11? Reward. The fruit produces a reward or a blessing, okay? All right, Jeremiah 3:14 says, turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Okay, this is another picture of the remnant. See that? I'm taking you from your families. Everybody's saying, why can't my whole family go? That's not what he's doing. I'm trying to get all my family over there to the land. You can try if you like. The point is, he's taking a remnant. And if that remnant made themselves ready, you'll be fine. 15 says, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So they'll give you pastors or shepherds, right? According to his heart, and they're supposed to feed you knowledge and understanding, okay? So something I don't need to hear about, well, I mean, the word says that's what he's going to give you. So either you accept it, his way, his plan, the way he does things or not. All right. 16 says, and it shall come to pass when you be multiplied and increased, remember, or be fruitful and multiply, same words. In the land in those days, saith Yahuah, they shall say no more the ark of the covenant of Yahuah, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. At that time, they shall call Yerushalayim the throne of Yahuah, and all nations shall be gathered unto it to the name of Yahuah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk anymore after their imaginations of their evil heart. Before I go to the next part, question is, has this happened yet, though? How do you know? Okay. Okay. So remember, also says, okay. And did they have the ark beforehand? Now the ark is, as they would say, right? Okay. So anyway, 18 says, in those days, the house of Yahudah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. Question, how is this happening? Yahudah shall walk with the house of Israel. Everyone's good there, right? All right. And they shall come together out of the lands. Is that Yahuah snatching them out of the land, or are they coming out of the land? Okay, so they're going to be doing this. The Father's going to open doors. He's going to be blessing. He's going to make things happen. But there's an instrumental part that we must do. It's not, he comes down and says, are you ready? Yes, Father. All right, Pat, put your seatbelt on. I'm about to take you away. It's not going to happen like that, right? All right. So that's why I'm saying you got to watch. We got to make sure that we're ready for when this time comes. It says, out of north, they give them for an inheritance unto your fathers.
That means that everybody is going to be on one accord. He done opened up their heart. They done received him, and he is planning somehow, some way that we'll be able to meet each other.
Okay, so think about it first. All this is talking about so far is just a remnant. Right, not everybody. Right, there's only going to be a remnant that's going to do this. You can see right now a lot of us are divided, right? So, but there's going to be a remnant that will not, and they'd be willing to do everything the Father says, and then he's going to open the door and allow for certain things to take place, okay? Everyone else, there's a different coming. So some people may think of one gathering or something like, he's going to gather this one time, everybody one time, and we're finished. Nope, that's not how that's going to happen.
Not in Hazan, because I've read it is like here a section, the remnant. Then after he get that together, here come another set.
Right. So you're reading like in Revelations 7, and it talks about then there's another number that no man could number. They're coming out. Right. Okay. Anyone else? All right. All right. So what does the Father hate and why? What does the Father hate and why? So here it says 6 things does Yahuah hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imagination, feet that swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaks lies, and he that sows discord among the brethren. Question first, what's the difference between lying tongue and speaking lies? Y'all read it, I'm sure, right?
Something that you've done and something that you continue to do.
Good try. Okay, anyone else?
A person who lies and then another one who speaks it knowing that it's a lie. Like repeats it knowing that it's a lie.
Okay, everyone's getting a little close.
I'm sorry. So a lying tongue is somebody that's lying and they know they're lying and they continue to do it. And I guess speak lies is if you hear somebody say something and you don't know if it's true or not, then you go and spread that rumor.
Uh-oh.
Okay, on there you say a false witness that speak lies. So he's corrupt already, and he always might, like we said, telling half truth, half.
Let me just tell you what she said. So just in case you all didn't get it. All right. She said he.
He's already correct. He is already.
She done already started it. It's a he. There ain't no she.
Well, just say him.
He. When he does this.
Right.
Okay. All right, so no problem.
Is already corrupt.
Yeah, he's already corrupt. Yes, he is. All right, no problem. All right, so let's look at the definition and then we'll go from there. All right. So the first definition is shakar. And it means, it says they're cognizant of the Akkadian, Aramaic, the Arabic, we're not getting into all the other Semitic languages here, but it is used of breaking of a promise, being false to a treaty or a commitment, hence empty promises. Okay?
That's the lying tongue.
This lying tongue. Oh, I'll do it. They're making up these commitments and treaties and they're all considered false promise. Now, speaking in tongues.
Speaking in tongues.
Speaking lies is different, but they share the same understanding, right? So we'll see what that word is. All right, so this word here is kazab, right? Which means the basic meaning to speak that which is untrue and therefore false to reality, right? It is often used in connection with shavaz, they would say, for vanity or emptiness. So now that you got the definition in the Hebrew, what is the subtle difference? One could lie without a promise, one could lie with a promise. One could be a false promise, and one could just be lying. Okay? So either one he don't like. Right. You don't lie and you don't make false commitments. It's kind of the bottom line. Is everyone with me so far?
So you're going to do something good.
Here's another one. Do not devise evil in your heart, right? Against one another and love no false oath. For all of these things, I hate. Oh, declares Yahuah. So now he's sharing with you some other things that he hates. How do you devise evil in your heart? Thinking evil thoughts? Okay, so thinking and devising evil. How do we do that?
Schemes, plans towards somebody that you have a vindictive with or a hatred towards someone.
Okay. Anyone else? I don't like this person.
Planning evil thoughts in your...
I don't want to be around that person. This person makes me, But yet you're supposed to be one, right? But then you, shalom, ma shalom cha, v'seda toda, right? Right. Now.
Hey, Maury.
Ken.
Can I give a quick testimony in reference to what you're saying?
Sure. You want to give a testimony?
Very quick.
Sure.
Very quick.
Sure.
All right. In the military, I had
Start the time.
Okay. In the military, I had a situation where a guy came to me, a soldier came to me, and he was telling me about this plan that they was doing. Mm-hmm. And he was, I didn't even ask. He was like, yeah, man, they doing this and that and this, and it's not right, and blah, 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 this, that, and this. So, okay. And I never agreed to what he said. I just said, oh, okay, because I didn't know really what was going on. Mm-hmm. Well, the next day, the colonel called me in his office. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going in the colonel's office. And so he had me at parade rest. Mm-hmm. And so now what the guy had told me, he was chewing me out because
sound like you agreed to that.
Right, because he thought that I was the one that was spreading this. And the guy that told me, he's sitting there on the side, he's sitting there grinning and laughing. Mm-hmm. But I'm taking the blunt of it, mm-hmm. like if it was something that I was spreading. Right. So this guy was scheming mm-hmm. and lying and mm-hmm. got me in trouble. Mm-hmm. And later on, about a couple of years later, the commander, he wound up leaving and we came back and he told me, he said, okay, I'm done. He came back, the colonel and told me, he says, that situation that happened, I later found out what happened. Mm-hmm. But at that moment, I was the one that got in trouble for it.
Right. Okay. So again, we got to think about that when it says one to another or one another, that's when we get people on our team. We devise against other people, brothers, sisters. He's saying this is something that he hates, right? So understand, if you're trying to be with him, we have to learn what he hates. And if you're doing the thing that he hates, you might want to consider your ways, okay? Now keep that in mind. Now, why is all this important? None of these things produces fruit. None of it, right? No increase can be made from these behaviors. It is creating division, separation.
Some people, you shouldn't tell a half truth. You should be honest as much as you can be, because sometimes you may not tell the whole truth, at one time, or, when you're saying something and just, just think it's okay with that person, but realize that the Father sees and knows everything. You may try to deceive that other person, but you never can deceive the Father.
Right. And some things when you think about is, some say, well, we might be hurting each other's feelings or whatever that is, right? So we don't want to do certain things, but then you use wisdom. Just don't lie. I don't want to talk about it. In other words, don't put yourself in there where you're giving bits and pieces and it's leaning towards something, but you don't really not saying what it is. And then it's left to somebody else to figure that out. And then that promotes this lie. Like, I didn't say that. Who said that, right? So the point is either use wisdom in the matter or just don't, I say use wisdom in the matter, meaning how to help that situation out. Or if you know it's going to cause more damage, then you might want to scale back a little bit and get a better, I don't care if that's getting brothers or sisters together and figuring things out. But the point is we have to learn how we need to operate one towards, if we're all going to the same place. Now, if you guys say that the promised land is in Africa and you're going over there, okay. And then the other one's promised land is over in Israel and you're going, okay. And then the United States is the promised land, you want to stand fast? Okay. And then if you think you're going to be in heaven somewhere and the New Jerusalem is going to stay up there somewhere, you want to be there in the cloud with the harp, then okay, we're going different places. I understand. But if we all believe we're going to the same place, then we need to operate like we're in a cod, we're in unity. Is everyone with me so far? Okay.
You got a hand raised.
Okay. Kanan?
Shalom, shalom. Does that have anything to do with being reborn? You're talking about producing fruit from above. So you said that the 6 or 7 things that Yahuah hates is things that are not producing fruit.
Right. So the things that are not producing fruit spiritually first. Okay. So his word tells us how we should be one towards another. As we progress in the fruit, we'll see how literal fruit works is the same way how spiritual fruit works. They both work the same way, naturally and spiritually. I'm good. So yes, I believe that the Father is judging us by our fruits, if you will, or by our works and the things that we do. However, how we, I guess, view the Father's, because I don't want to say how we view the Father's word as though we the one that determine how the Father's word goes, right? So it's how the Father's word works out. It's supposed to produce fruit, right? If that fruit does not match his word, then that's what's going to be judged, specifically the intent of your heart and things like that. So if you're asking me about spiritual fruit, I would say yes in that regard. Mm-hmm. All right, this is in the Qumran, 1Q H, technically HA 414, and it says, they search you with a double heart, okay? I'm gonna ask you a question what that means, and are not firmly based in your truth. A root which produces poison and bitterness is in their thoughts. Where is that located? It's inside here, right? What's double heart? Now, mind you, the word double and heart is the same Hebrew word, lave and lave. So, but my question is, what's a double heart? Anyone? You all know it. I just got to give you the right scripture so it can jog your memory. Okay, double-minded. Okay? Right, but remember, this double heart, it says that they are not firmly based in the truth. They're not firmly based in the truth, meaning they have an understanding what truth is, but they're not firmly based in the truth, right? So because of that, is a root which produces poison and bitterness. So it will produce this because they're not firmly rooted in something, okay? All right, and this all starts where? All right, great. Now, Psalms 12, 2 and 3 says, they speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. Yahuah shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaks proud. Now the word there, proud, is what? In the Hebrew? What does it say there? Dolot? Dolot. Look up what that means, someone that's proud. This is a type of a proud person. Okay? So keep that in mind. Hebrew word there is lay for heart, understanding, but not firmly in the truth. As we said, everyone agrees to James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Okay? Is that me? Oh. Oh. I don't know if that's me. Oh, that's here. I don't know. Well, it's on mute, so. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, Father said it's time. I'm out of here, Father. Okay. Deborah 29:17 says, and you have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. Least there should be among you men or women or family or tribe whose heart turns away this day from Yahuah our Elohim to go and serve the Elohim of these nations. Least there should be among you a root that bears gall and wormwood. Right? So you just keep this about. This is all about what's in your heart or in your thoughts or in your mind. All right? Now back to the Dead Sea Scrolls here. It says the tree of life. Because remember I said we're always going to be pointing back to the garden. So the tree of life is in the secret source, hidden among all the trees at the water, which shall make a shoot grow in the everlasting plantation. We'll get more into this in the future. To take root before they grow, their roots extend to the gully. What is a gully? Gully? Okay, we'll see. I'll give you a picture in just a minute. And its trunks open to the living waters, to be an everlasting spring. On the shoots of its leaves, all the animals of the wood would feed. Its trunks will be pasture for all who cross the path, and its leaves for all winged birds. Above it will rise all the trees at the water, for they will grow in their plantation. All right, you see where the guy's standing? That's a gully. Okay, so your roots need to go all the way down into the gully. That's when you know you're firmly grounded. You got some foundation, you got some root. Is when you're, because if there's seed, it starts producing. Remember we were talking about the roots, and it goes on stony ground, or it goes on this, and it goes on that, then it can be taken away. But if it can go all the way down in there and be firmly in there, you have yourself a deal. So anyway, although they do not extend their root to the gully, however, he who causes the set apart shoot to grow in the true plantation hides not, consider nor known its sealed mystery. Then it's blank in the Hebrew there. It says, but you, El, you protect its fruit with the mystery of powerful warriors. And spirits of Kadush are set apart, and the whirling flame of fire, so that no stranger might come to the mountain of life, nor with the eternal tree by him. Oh, this is the Hebrew 13. Before I go there. So here, we're going to talk about some other trees in the garden in the future. We did touch on that when we did that Elohim series. Everyone remember that? We was talking about some Elohims are considered trees and things like that. Okay. Hebrews 13:15 says, by him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Elohim continually. That it is the what? Fruit of our lips, giving thanks to who? His name. Not to your name, not giving no one else praise. We're giving praise to him. Is everyone so by the fruit of your lips? Same thing it says in the Qumran, it says breath on the tongue, you know its words. It says, you instituted the fruit of the lips before they came to be. You place words to the rhythm, and the puff of the breath from the lips to the beat. So that's where they get all the rhyme. No, anyway. So you make the rhythms emerge according to their mysteries, and the puff of breath by their measures, to show your esteem and recount your wonders and all the deeds of your truth and your just judgment, to praise your name. Everything is about him, his name, everything. We'll see that towards the end, how it was in the garden because things didn't happen in the garden. Then he starts working outside the garden. Who did he work with outside the garden? So Adam, okay, takes him outside the garden. He first worked with him. Things happen, right? We're not pointing any fingers, right? Because both of them got out, didn't they? Okay, so when they got out, be fruitful. Then he says, hey, I'm gonna make a covenant with somebody. Who do you make a covenant with?
Each other.
Huh? Oh. Okay, so soon as they got out the garden, right? There's another covenant that's made with Noah, right? Then there's another covenant that's made with Abraham, right? So everyone remember these things or no? Just between the father, because remember the father. The objective here is to show the father's what the father wants, not so much what you and I may want, right? It's all about the father wants praise to his name, esteem, his word, to feel light. All this stuff is supposed to be about him, which we'll see later on. All right, what type of tree are you? Now, healthy soil, unhealthy soil, or good soil, bad soil. What makes this one a healthy soil? On to the left of your screen. Okay. 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 So how many people are on this first picture? Now, let me give you some other examples of this first picture. There's some people that got some places where they're really healthy in, and there's some in areas they're not so healthy in, right? Double-minded, or some people are, some areas they're strong in, some areas they're a little weak in, but the areas that they're weak in, they're trying to be strong in that area, but in the wrong way, or getting misinformation. Therefore, their roots can't get down into the third to really, or into his word to really figure out what's going on. I got to get it from somebody else. Let me call this brother up. Hey, excuse me, brother. Hey, can you tell me about this? Oh, that's what it is. Got it. How do you know that their brother didn't tell you, or that sister didn't tell you a lie? Then you go spread it. Next thing you know, someone debunks that. They got to come back to you. Didn't you say such and such? You like, yeah, well, he told me this. How do you refute that? What's happening here? The guy that's doing this has not put any roots into the information that he gave out. That person's not ready to be going out teaching and debating and all this other stuff that they do. All right, so that's the first one. All right, so you got good soil, you got bad soil. What's this next picture? How many of us are here? No one knows where they at? You all want to jump right over there with the fruit.
I see dead bones.
Okay, so I want you to see here that this tree is in the woods, right? Dead bodies, dead people, if you will, wicked people all around, but they got some energy coming out of that earth. The only thing that's sustaining this thing is that seed, right? So you see the ruach, or the spirit, or the aura, if you will, around the tree. It's not producing fruit, right? This is someone that's like in a babe state, if you will. Someone that is, they're excited. How many of us, when we first got into the walk, we was just excited for we may not have no fruit, but we were excited. Thank you, Father. And then we over here trying to talk to these other dry bones. Don't know nothing. Let me just tell you what happened. And they be like, what about this? Man, that pastor done chewed me up for breakfast. Didn't know nothing, right? But how many of us is in the middle here? How many of us is a good soil, root, growth, mature, branched vines. We're trying to get here, but we're not there producing fruit yet. Okay? So we're trying. Then you got producing good fruit, strong roots, have a foundation. This is us. How many we're here? Okay. So let me ask you guys a quick question here. I'm just curious because you guys didn't say you were on none of these trees. Is there another tree that I'm unfamiliar with? Huh?
It requires to be honest with yourself.
That last one, look how deep them roots are, right? Producing all them fruits. I mean, I know where our desire is, but if you, the point of this exercise was for you to be real with yourself. Where are you in this? Some of us is going back and forth. We're in the first tree.
Yeah.
Some of us is over here trying to tell the Father's word, no, nothing, but we know we love him. Okay?
I love you.
And that's what over here, someone said, listen, not only do I love him, I got a foundation. I can go out and share the Father's word. I can win souls. I can do this. I can do that. I'm enduring to the end. I'm way over here. I know I'm there. You got to figure out which tree you are, right? I know we say we're going to be trees of righteousness, right? Okay, so because you maybe I let it marinate.
A lot of people like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are in the middle.
Yeah, Maury, I'm kind of like in the middle, like the good tree, like the middle tree, and then the producing good fruit. Like I'm kind of in the middle.
Okay. So
like
that's
transitioning, like trying to get it, like I'm going over to producing good fruit.
Okay. So right now I got that song. Meet me in the middle. No. Uh-huh.
Is he stuck?
No, he's just giving them praise. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, whichever tree we are, shouldn't that just be between us and the Father?
No, because the whole point is you're being one with these people that you're claiming to be. They don't know what you are.
Okay.
Yeah. If everyone's claiming to be this over here and you over here, there's a problem.
Yeah. You got a lot of number ones.
Yeah, I'm going to say that before I came into the correct set apart walk, I was the unhealthy soil about what was fed to me in Christianity.
Okay.
Now I'm moving towards the healthy soil.
Okay.
I know I got a long way to go.
Okay. So you're right here. You're in the first tree.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I'm in the first tree, trying to make sure that I'm well knowledge and not causing somebody to stumble. So I figure about time in the future, I'm going to be right there in the middle.
Okay.
I'm letting the Ruach, right now the Ruach is kind of with me, helping me to see. And I'm moving towards the middle.
Okay.
Because that first one, even though it's unhealthy soil, that soil can be rejuvenated. That soil can be cultivated. So you see where it's healing.
It has leaves on it.
Yeah, it's there.
Right?
Restored. Notice
that one could call the first tree, well, this is like church, right? You can't tell me everything in the church is wrong. That's not, I believe you can't say everything in the church is wrong, right? But my point is that some people are still here, right? And there's some things that they're helping and they're prospering, they can do things. And then you got some that says, okay, I'm now, the Father's seed is a certain place in my life. I can move over here and look at all of these bad bones and stuff that the people around me. Could these bad bones, people around you, be hindering your trees? Right? You say, Father, but I need your word. I need your spirit. I need your presence around me. Because look what else I got around me. Dead bones. See? Then you got over there and says, you know what, Father, thank you for this here. Thank you for this here. And now I need to come over here, or he's blessed me to be over here. Right? So just keep that in mind.
You got to have hand raised.
Okay.
Lamadyahu.
Shalom. If the word is the seed, if the seed is the word of Yahuah and we are the trees, what is the soil then?
Well, the soil technically is our body. Spiritually, like what they call our body, is technically the soil. The seed is the word of Elohim that's within us. And then from there, it's supposed to produce a certain vine, ultimately produce certain fruits.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So next one is replenish the earth, which says, what does replenish means? We know this word male, which also is a word for molecule when we're doing the DNA series, right? To fill. And so subdue the earth, right? The word there for subdue is kivish, right? Or kabesh. It also means footstool, tread down, to make, serve, subject, right? That's what that word means. So Psalms 119, and Yahuah said unto Adonai, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool. Thus saith Isaiah 66:1, thus saith Yahuah, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. There is the house that you will build unto me, and where is the place of my rest, right? So just understand future, we're going to see that this subdue started where? Where did you hear this word first? In the garden. Remember, he told him subdue, right? In the garden. Now it's out of the garden. And he's still telling you the same thing that they said in the garden. Is everyone with me so far? All right, so remember, this is just intro until we start putting it all together. All right, so because of the fall in the garden, one other thing must be subdued. Micah 7:19 says, he will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and you will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Okay, so mind you, there was a natural subduing that he wanted Adam or Adam or mankind to do. However, because of sin, now there's a subduing that has to happen within you first, right? So now there's two things. Before you can do anything on the outside, fix the inside. Okay, Psalms 47:3 says, he shall subdue the people under us, and the nations under our feet. 1 Corinthians 15:28 says, and when all things shall be subdued unto him, even shall the Son also himself be subject unto him, that puts all things under him, that he may be all in all. This is the whole plan that we're going to see, that started here, and then that didn't work. He made a covenant here. People are violating the covenant. He said, let me try it again over here. It keeps a violation. Okay, let me send my son. Okay, I tell you what, let me put everything underneath him. And after that, then even he himself will be subjected to me, so that, or subdued to me, so that I'll be all. Notice everything is going to point all the way back to the Father. We're going to see that in the future. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. So it includes spiritual overcoming, subduing the influence of evil in our hearts. So if we're still trying to be, now, if you got a clean heart, everyone's good, everybody's heart is really good, and we're at peace with everybody, and we're doing kumbaya, great. If you're not there, then know yourself and know that there's still things I have to work on. That means that there are some things that we've picked up from our history, our past, our families, our friends, our work, what people in the walk, what people have done to us. There's so much has to be subdued, because towards the end of the slides here, there's going to be some questions that I have for you guys. I want you guys to be honest with yourself. Now, listen, if everyone be honest, you guys might find out you guys are about the same area, plus or minus. Okay, but we'll see. All right, having dominion, Radah. So Isaiah 26:13 is, oh, Yahuah our Elohim. And then it's Adonim versus, I know the King James had Lord or something like that. But anyways, Adonim, besides you have had dominion over us, but by you only will we make mention of your name. Again, his name is going to be very important throughout the future events. Because somehow his name is placed on us. If his name didn't mean anything, why do so much about his name? Okay. Daniel 7:13 says, I have in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of Shamayim or heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was it given him dominion and esteem and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and tongues should serve him. His dominion is a everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So, who is this Son of Man, and what dominion will he have? Okay, you said Mashiach, all right, and then so we say, okay, well, the Son of Man is Mashiach, right? And then you have there was given him dominion over the kingdom, right, and all people and all nations. Why all people? Why all nations, right? And then language, and shall serve his dominion. Now, have you guys ever read that somewhere else before? Just in Daniel?
Didn't Hamashiach himself say that? I can't remember exactly which gospel it was, but he said that my Father had given me all dominion.
You talking all dominion has been given to me, heaven and earth?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, that's one. All right, so Matthew's 20:25. And I shall call them, and them said, you know that the prince of the Gentiles, and exercise dominion over them, and they that are great, exercise authority upon them. Romans 6:14 says, for the sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under favor. You can look at the whole series we did the Technical Christian series to figure out what law they were referring to. But however, what should have dominion over you?
Sin.
Sin. We all know what sin is?
Transgression of the law.
Okay, so question, being in unity with one another, if we're not, is that a transgression of the law or sin or anything?
King. It's transgression.
So do I need to go back to that tree to see where everybody's at? All right. So I'm just sharing with you because when, if we're not positive, the very elect could be deceived, that means something. That means that he's really looking for someone with a serious heart. You really got to be like, I don't care what you think of me. The Father said this is what I'm going to do. And the prayer, the hope is that person sees the Father in you, and then we begin to work with one another. That's the prayer. That's the hope. All right. So Revelation 7:9 says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, and all nations, all kindreds, and all people, and all tongues or languages stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Okay, so again, there is a reason for gathering all nations, and the books are going to be open. We'll talk about all that in the future. I'm just saying that right now it's just a little simple intro. All right, the Son of Man. Daniel 7:13, which we read, says, I saw in the night vision, behold, someone like Son of Man, and clouds of heaven came to the Ancient of Days, and behold, and they brought him near before him. Matthew 24:30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in clouds of heaven with power and great esteem. He's coming with power and what? Now, you remember that's translated in King James as? Glory. Everyone remember? I know y'all want to go back there. Glory. Y'all want to stand up and mute your mic? Okay. All right. Keep that in mind. Matthew 16:27. For the Son of Man shall come in the esteem or the what? Glory. Of his Father with his Malachims, and then, or commonly called angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his work. That reward is dealing with that fruit according to their works. John says, Father, I will also whom you have given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my which you had given me, for you loved me before the foundations of the world. Remember, we read, then he says, give me back the right. So you can see that they all come together, don't they? Huh? All right. Yes. Now, Enoch 46:3. He said, and he answered me and said unto me, this is the Son of Man, to whom belongs righteousness, and with whom righteousness dwells. And he will open all the hidden storerooms. For Yahuah of spirits has chosen him, and he is destined to be victorious before Yahuah of the spirits in eternal righteousness. Now, one of the arguments, which we're not going to get into the argument today, but one of the arguments is, this here is Matthew's and John is more of a Christian doctrine, they would say, right? And that, sure, he can say these things, but did the book of Enoch exist before Matthew's through Revelations?
Can.
Okay, and so one question also might ask is, but where does it prophesy of his name? I mean, if he's the Messiah to come, why didn't he tell you his name before he came? Okay, so we see Son of Man, but what's his name? That's a title. So what do you say? So this can be some people's stumbling blocks, right? But again, so you would need something that says something before, let's say, Matthew's through Revelation that you would probably use, right? All right. Enoch 1:42 says, at that hour, the Son of Man was given a name in the presence of Yahuah of the spirits before the time, before the age. However, 67 says, for the Son of Man was concealed from the beginning, and the Most High One preserved him in the presence of his power. Then he revealed him to the set apart and the elect ones. The congregation of the set apart ones shall be planted, and all the elect ones shall stand before him. Again, this is before Matthew's through Revelations, right? So again, he says, listen, I didn't have to tell you his name. It was concealed. Why do you want to ask me what's his name? Is that the problem? Or I just don't want to believe because I might have been bamboozled into Christendom or Christianity, as some say. So this is some of the issues that people have, but I won't go over that. That's not the point of this lesson. My point is, when you stand before the Son of Man, what would you want him to see or say to you? That's what y'all want to hear? That's what you're saying. That's what y'all prepared yourself for. So you telling me? I would
like him to say, good and well done, faithful servant. That's what I would want him to say to me.
Oh, yeah. You said like everybody in the room said. The same thing you said. I'm with you. Okay? But then it says, what is he looking for? If that's what you want to hear, then what is he looking for?
Obedience.
He's looking for himself.
Okay?
He's looking for himself.
Okay, because he's supposed to be in you, right?
For himself.
So if that blood, that DNA is in you, he should be able to see his Son. Okay, so we all in agreement. He sees the Son in all of us today, in all of us.
Ooh.
Let's raise our hands. I know it. I'm a spitting image. When you see me, you seen the Father. Okay.
All right, everybody on your face. Time to pray.
Have you made yourself ready for the answer you want to hear? Have you made yourself ready for the answer you want to hear? Because everybody says, I want to go there. I want to be in that land. I want to be in that kingdom. I want to be. And are you sure? Because if he comes and you weren't ready, you say, can you give me one more week? Huh? Okay, so I just want you to think about these as we go, because remember, the whole point of this lesson is just to say that there's a group, there's a remnant that he's looking for. And if you fit the criteria for the remnant, you're in business. If not, there's another coming, which you'll be part of. There'll be some birth pains, some highs, some dodging, some bullets, and whatever else you want to do. But the point is, in Jeremiah or Yahuah 51, it says, when all this comes, let Jerusalem come to your mind. Okay, that's the one you want to be in. Or you want him to, hold on, he says, seal the four corners and let them seal my people. Which one do you want?
Seal me. Seal me.
But how can he seal sin? Okay, all right. He said, we working. We're going to keep working. So then what I'm saying is, if you really working, you need to start. So you need to really believe you're working. Don't say I'm working and you're really not working, right? We have to start working on this. All right, we'll keep going. So I said, no, Galatians 3:16 says, now to Abraham and his seed, where the promise was made. He says, not in seeds as of many, but as one, and to your seed, which is Mashiach, right? All right, so notice that the seed of Mashiach came through was the natural seed and the spiritual seed. So the natural seed is, of course, Israel, right? Yehudah. And then the spiritual seed, he's the word that became flesh. right? So he didn't do away with the natural seed. And he didn't do away with the spiritual seed, right? There is only one seed. It only produces one fruit. This natural seed comes with descendants, a branch that will fill the earth. That's what the promise is. How do you compare to this seed? Okay, and then, is this seed in your heart? Is it producing fruit? What I'm saying is I'm not asking you really to answer. I'm just having you to think now, like, Father, I come and give you praise, and I'm snotting at the nose sometime by myself, and I love you, but sometimes these stiff-necked jokers you got called my brother and sister is changing me. Something is wrong with this, that we can't even love each other in a way that is pleasing to him. I'm not saying we're going to agree 100% on everything, but it shouldn't be to a point we got to be nasty to each other or have some malice that's what I'm saying, is that is not him. You see what I mean? So we got to start changing our attitude. We try to get to the land, and then all of a sudden he said, Father, we got it. And that plane goes, I don't want to be on that plane. Right? Because you would know if you are walking in the seed or not. You should automatically know this. In your foundation, you should automatically know that you are actually doing this. If not, the practicing time is now to start repenting, to start changing, because you don't know this coronavirus was a good scare for a lot of people, right? And in that scare, did you ever take a look and say, let me think about all of these things? No. Just like, he knows he got my back. I know my Elohim, he's strong. Well, I know he's strong. And that sin in you might have a strong hold on you. Okay, so you got to figure out where you are. So we'll keep going. All right, so in the book of Enoch takes note that the Son of Man has a throne, which we'll talk about in the future. Okay, keep going. Back to the descendants here. So the descendants of Abraham was to fill the earth and renew the earth, bear the image of Elohim, to be the light and the salt of the earth. Everyone wants to be that, right? I hope, right? Great. To be a witness, because that's what he wants us to be, a witness in the earth. They were to help change the hearts of the nations, not just each other, but we're supposed to be light to the whole world, right? Okay. The problem Israel has is not being able to change their own heart and behavior. That is Israel's problem. They are conforming to the ways of the nations. How can Israel be an example of how to have a circumcised heart or be a light when they cannot do this within themselves or towards one another? How do you do that? Because you're the example. When you go out and you start talking, you're speaking on behalf of the Creator. So when they see you, they should see the Creator. Remember, Michelle says when they reject you, they didn't reject you, they rejected me. Why? Because we should be in each other. We should be having the Most High. So when we're doing this here, one to another, we're not representing the Father. We're not representing the Mashiach. We're representing ourselves, or you're representing the other Father. Okay? All right. So I got another little test for you guys. Tell me where you guys are. This one here is open. Okay? I want to know who is here. Huh? I don't want to be bothered. I don't want you in my life. I don't need all of this stuff. You close each other out. What do you want? Screening calls, whatever you do. My point is, how many of us is right here? You can be honest. If you're still working on it, you're working on it. But you could be right here. Some of us could be right here, sitting there trying to, but the one that's on the inside of the door is claiming he know Yah, right? But look how we treating each other. Okay, so let's just say we graduated from that. How many of us graduated from this? This is not us.
Keep knocking, but you can't come in.
We know what I noticed. No, hands don't go up. They don't go down. They're not
going
honest.
Up and down in their heart.
Oh, okay. I told you, be honest with yourself. That's all you're doing. Okay? So if you graduated from here, let's just say you're there. Here comes the next part. I'm around all these sharks. I was around these people. That's you right in the middle. That I'm trying to do right, and these sharks are all around me. No one's in that situation, right? No? Meaning, let me help you out. These sharks is your own brothers and sisters. Okay? No one's in this predicament? Okay, all right, good. Let's see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So how do you fix that?
Talk.
Just talk.
Communicate.
That's right.
Be honest.
We need to be honest with each other.
Okay.
And work out those situations that you think that we do to each other. Mm-hmm. We have to first find out what we're doing to each other in order to change those things, mm-hmm. that the Father will be pleased with us. Mm-hmm. Because as long as those sharks is running around and we don't talk, mm-hmm. we can imagine anything in mm-hmm. our mind. Well, you go sit down and make a list.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because this could be Abia. This could be.
It could be anybody.
This could be Abia. This could be not Amaya. This could be Shemaiah. This could be Adiah. My point is this. No, the brothers is good.
I'm about to name some.
Yeah. The brothers is all right.
I'm about to name some. Well, you see the sharks swimming around?
So I'm gonna show you. These two here, they're swimming. Could be those two ganging up on the one that's in the center.
Yeah. Or
right?
It just appears that they're sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sharks swimming around might think you're a shark in the middle.
So now we can say this could be anybody, right? But the problem with this picture is, the problem with this picture is this. We all claim who ain't the shark.
It ain't me.
You see the problem? That I know. I'm that innocent. I'm that white with white robes in the water. That's me right there. And not going to what you think is the shark to figure out what's going on.
We don't talk.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So now my question is, are we discussing here like biological family and friends of the world, or are we talking within amongst ourselves? Because Hamashiach did say that my brothers and sisters
are the ones that do something. Right. I'm only speaking about those that got the word.
Okay.
Or they claim they have the word.
All right. Just want to be clear. Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I want to point out is the fact that a person might be offending you, right? But they don't know they're offending you.
Okay.
They don't know that their action or the behavior is taken offensively. To them, they're just being them. And I'm just being myself. But yourself is offending me. You know? And I'm the one, I'm too scared to say, why don't you be quiet? You're always interrupting the class. We're trying to pay attention. And you just keep, around me and running your mouth. All you do is, I love you. I'm trying to love you, but you're doing this and you don't realize you're doing it.
Right. Versus addressing it, then making it known on the spot. They carry it, and then they carry some more, and then it just gets worse.
And just like you're saying, you might want to talk to that person, but even when you go talk to that person, what if they double-hearted or double-minded and not giving you the truth?
Then what's the next thing you do? First, it says you go to that person alone.
Right.
After that person, if it ain't working out,
go get you a witness.
Get yourself a witness. Get to it. If that don't work out, bring them to the assembly. So my point is that it already told us how to do it. It's just, are we exercising this way?
And you can't brush it under the table like it's not happening.
No, you're gonna trip on it.
Right, and not going away. It's gonna stay there and manifest, and then before you know it, it could blow up.
And then you see, again, what do you say when everybody see each other? They first see each other every time they come in.
Shalom.
Shalom. Right. And shalom means what? Peace. But do you have peace with that person?
No.
That's the problem. Okay, we'll keep going. So let's just say we got past this. We graduated past that. Now, huh? You guys want? I don't like this person. Get away from me. Huh? The other one's like trying to work with you. No, listen, I'm trying to. This one, no, I can't work with you. We don't have that, do we?
The big eye, little you.
Okay. No, but so since we're good with this, we can move on to the last one. If I didn't hit none of those, here's our last part then. We just pointing fingers. That's the problem. She the problem. He the problem. They the problem. Both of them the problem.
You need to look within yourself.
Right. So they're not looking. They're looking at everybody else but themselves. And they act like there's no solution to this problem. There's always a solution in the Father's word. We just don't exercise the solution. Okay? Is everyone with me so far? All right, so we'll keep going. I don't want to be too long here.
Moray, you have people that get offensive of anything. I don't care what you do. Just because they don't like it, and then it's almost like you may have to change yourself to just accommodate them. So they may have an issue. So sometimes people got to check themselves.
Okay.
Paul Shaul gave an advice. And he says, if a person is weak in an area and you know it, then don't do the thing that's going to offend them in that area. If you have to be strong, because if you feel like, I'm just being, then you're weak in an area, because you can't see that if they can't overcome it, you should be able to say, well, I can adjust my behavior so that I don't offend them. That's what it's all about.
It helps to gain.
To gain, my brother, my sister, And as they get to know you better, they say, well, that used to offend me, but I see you didn't really mean nothing by it. You'll grow. They'll grow. It's like I said, it's a level of trust that we gain here. That's the whole point of fellowship, right? If I don't see you all the time, if I'm not around you all the time, if I can't spend that time with you, I can never know you. I can never really know you. And then I'm supposed to trust you.
Right. And you got to think about it. Like if you feel like you're losing yourself, first of all, you need to make sure first you're operating in the word. The Father's word, the Elohim be true, every man a lie, right? The Father's word can never come back void. If you stay in that area, but your personality or the way you do things is offensive to that person or standoffish, or they don't like the way you are, and you say, okay, you guys will need to talk about that. Each person will need to talk about it. I can humble myself and say, okay, well, I am a little abrasive, or I am a little whatever it could be, right? So that means I need to change that, but my changing that is to gain them, right? It's so that I say, well, let me tell you why I'm like this. Let me tell you why I do this, but I don't mean nothing bad. I got a whole lot of bark, but no bite, whatever people say. The point is that then maybe you don't need to be barking.
I'm going to tell you a serious, something that when I first came into the walk, we had that happen. We got together as women, and everybody was having some kind of art with everything. And we got together and we called a meeting amongst the women. And we, as in that group, each group had to, we put guidelines. We could ask, what have I done to offend you? And everybody had a chance to go to each person and ask that person.
Without that person?
Without getting all up in the air.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what she said, girl? Can't believe. She had a nerve.
Without doing that, just asking that person, have I offended you in some way? If I have, can we talk about it? And we left there clean as a board, and our minds and everything that was coming after us, or we think it, like that, it was gone, because we stood there and we asked everybody. If one person got up and went all around the room for every woman,
This is everybody say that every quarter.
And we stay there about 2 hours getting it straight.
Okay.
And we left with a sound heart, a lighter heart, and understanding each other.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Just in defense of the sisters, we did talk about emotional maturity, which is defined as the ability to discuss and resolve conflicts without escalating them. So we have talked about this, didn't we?
Well, yeah, right. You said y'all talked about it. I'm glad y'all talked about it.
We got to put it into practice? Okay.
Yeah, that was the point.
Right. Some people can talk. Just like I can say.
And
right.
we're going to implement.
Right. But you said talk, right? Y'all talked about it.
Well, we haven't got a chance to. We haven't gotten a chance.
Right. So, no different. Like some people that read the scriptures. How many read the scriptures?
Oh, yes.
How many study the scriptures?
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
The same hands?
Oh, yes.
I read about it. I sure did. I know the story. Tell me about that story. Well, this happened. I said, right, but what was the meaning behind the story? Right? Same thing with your faith and your works, right? Faith, yeah, well, let me see it. Right? All right. Well, Isaiah 43:9, okay, the mission of his people. It says, let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled, who among them can declare this and show us former things. Now, who can do this, right? He says, let them bring forth their witness, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is the truth. But listen what the Most High says. You are my witness, meaning his people. So all nations go, hey, I can taste this. No, they can't say anything. He said, I'm going to see your witness. The Father want to see your witness. But he let you know that I'm your witness, saith Yahuah, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he before, lifnei, before me, or compared to me, if you will, there is no Elohim formed, right? Nutsar, neither shall there be after me. I am Yahuah, and besides, right? Bil adeh, besides me, apart from me, or without me, because everyone thinks this besides me, like there's no, he's saying without me, there is no other savior. Ain, not lo, ain. Difference in the Hebrew there. He says, I have declared and have saved, and I have showed when there was no strange Elohim among you. Therefore you are. Behold, you shall call a nation that you know not, and nations that knew not you shall run unto you because of Yahuah Elohim, and for the Kadosh, or set apart one of Israel, for he has esteemed you. The objective is for all the nations to come to you. Learn about, we're supposed to be his witness, right? You read in Romans chapter 1, you're talking about what advantage does a Yahudim have, chief in every way, because the oracles of Elohim was given. Those they're supposed to know. But if we can get ourselves together, what's happening? How can we be an effective witness with all these other problems? And we trying to say, man, you see all the wickedness in the world? Man, it's getting bad. It's getting worse. And you're like, well, righteousness is not getting better at all within us, right? So the enemy can say, yes, I'm winning. And we don't want him to win, but we're allowing other people to cause issues, because we didn't address the issues within ourselves first. Okay? Is everyone with me so far? All right. We'll keep going here. I'm hoping I can get through all the slides. All right. What is the mission for his people? Continue. So Genesis 12:1 says, now Yahuah had said unto Abram, get you out of the country and from your kindred. Who's his kindred? That's his family, right? Everyone agrees? All right, get away from them. And from your father's house unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and ye shall be a blessing. Remember I told you, what was it that they got in the garden? To be blessed. Before they can go out, they got the Father's blessing. Covenant time, Abraham, blessing. See what I'm saying? Covenant comes with this blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse him that curses you, and in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. Okay, so was Adam and Hawa blessed? Yes, right? Okay. All right. And I guess I'm gonna hit the button here. All right, so see that the pattern from the garden, blessed before you go presenting yourselves on behalf of Yahuah, you need to be blessed or trained or taught in his word. Don't just go out there representing the Father and you be misrepresenting him. Okay?
You tell me I just can't wake up tomorrow, get the word, and then I'll be just telling everybody, getting a YouTube channel and
become the new Morey on the block.
Yeah.
And hey, let me just, and then if I can find, I've seen this some years ago. I'm not saying that, I haven't seen it recently, but some years ago, there's some that they were brand new, and how they established themselves is they try to find a veteran Morey and find something that he might have said wrong, and then try to capitalize on that to make it sound like this person knows so much. Right? That's not good. So if you saw a Morey that does that, then you should go to that more. Hey, I saw a video you did. Is this correct? Because I read this. Oh man, thank you. I appreciate it. That's how we stay in tune with one another. Not trying to build a platform for ourselves. Okay, but we'll see how that works later on. All right, 35:11 says, and Elohim said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of, and a kingdom shall come out of your loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Yitzchak or Isaac, to you I will give it, and to your seed after you will I give the land. Okay, so again, the land is going to be like the headquarters, which we're about to get into in just a minute. Then I'll close it up with that, and you'll see where we're going to go next week, if I'm not in the land by then. Okay, finding the patterns. Okay, so the garden compared to the covenant, to be fruitful and multiply. And that has the seed and the fruit deal. Everyone sees that, right? All right. Subdue and have dominion. Blessed by Elohim, same in the covenant. Be a witness and spread the truth. His image and likeness is to be in the earth. This is what was in the garden. This is what he wants now to carry from his covenant from generation to generation, which we'll see in the future. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commands, for this is the whole duty of man, right? So you have no other duty in this covenant but to keep his commandment. So if I got an issue with you and his commandment tells me how to resolve it, my whole duty is to get it right, right? Okay. So I put Adam and Chawah was, or Adam and I say Chawah all the time, but Eve, was to be fruitful and multiply. So was Abraham and Sarah. Remember, it's just them two. And then all of a sudden, here comes Abraham. But Sarah, she didn't have any, right? So a miracle had to take place in her womb. And then from them was supposed to be like the stars of the, you see what I'm saying? In other words, he's working, this is how the Father works. He starts very small and he makes it big, okay? Devarim 30, verse 5, 6, and then I jump down to 16 through 20. And Yahuah your Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed and shall possess it, and he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers. So imagine what happened. They came out, the fathers was acting a fool. He said, okay, that whole generation, you're done. I'll start with the next generation. I want you to see this pattern, how he always got to keep starting over and over and over. And we're going to see at the end why. Well, we'll read about it at the end and then we'll pick it up next week. And Yahuah your Elohim will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seeds to love Yahuah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and that you may live. Now, it says Yahuah will circumcise the heart. Then you read another place, for you to circumcise your heart. Which one is it? Both, right? So if you're willing to circumcise your heart, he will circumcise it. Same thing with Pharaoh. What happened with Pharaoh is he strengthened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh already knew what he wanted, but because like he didn't want to let Yah's peoples go. So, but he really wanted to defeat Yahuah, if you will. Okay, well, let me give you that strength. Whatever's in your heart, I'm going to increase that thing. And it kept him going, and it kept him going. And so he used Pharaoh, it was in his heart, to prove a point. It's no difference in us today. All right, 16 says, "In that I command you this day to love Yahuah Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. And Yahuah Elohim shall bless you in the land which you would possess. But if your heart turn away, so that you will not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other Elohims and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether you pass over your Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, and I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that you may love Yahuah Elohim, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cleave unto him, for he is your life, and the length of days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahuah swore unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, to give unto you, to them." All right, staying focused. Yisrael was to walk in his ways and keep his commandments. In order to fulfill this original Adamic commission to live and multiply, and that Yahuah may bless you in the land whether you go and enter and possess it, which we already read. Ultimately, only if Elohim circumcises their heart would they be able to love and obey him, continue in his presence, and inherit the promise and truly live. This will be the formula throughout the series. I will keep tying the beginning to show the end. These patterns or formulas will be the key to understanding why Yahuah does these things cyclically. We're going to see that as we keep growing in what we're going to do. And of course, we read in Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, things which are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasures. We can learn the end from, that's why we're going to the beginning, so we can understand. Okay, great. Romans 15:4, whatsoever things were written for a time was written for our learning, that we through, oh, we got that? We got that? Huh? Y'all got patience? Okay. And comfort of, you might have hope. Okay? You might have hope. So I want you to see that everything that's written before it, we're supposed to learn from, so we can grow, to get better. So the objective is, if he keeps doing these cycles over and over again, and he keeps destroying and then restarting and destroying and restarting, and there's going to be a generation that says, enough, Father, let me see what happens if I just do what you say do.
Yes.
Right? But we got to get that remnant together. Okay? All right. Example of Eden outside of Eden. So these are just scriptures that I'm sharing with you. He's giving examples of Eden, picture of where he talks about the Garden of Eden, because ultimately where we're trying to get back to is the garden. So he says 51:3, Isaiah 51:3 says, for Yahuah shall comfort Zion, or Zion. We had enough, okay. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about nothing. All right. He will comfort all. I know, sisters, y'all don't know what's happening. Okay, I'll just tell you really fast, really brief. So, yeah, well, okay, I'll just tell you. So anyway, so in Israel, the cuss word is Zion. That's a cuss word, right? But the Hebrew word, though, is not Zion that we're saying. It's Zion, technically, it's Zion. It's the proper way, not Zion. But anyway, we'll keep going. I don't want to stumble. Come here, Zion. You're like, wait. Don't be cussing at me. Wait a minute, what's your dog's name? Okay, my bad. I forgot. You cuss at that dog every day, don't you? I saw it on his collar. All right, no problem. We got it. All right, says for your comfort Zion and Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahuah. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Ezekiel 36:35, it says, and they shall say, this land that we have desolate has become like the garden of Eden, and the waste, desolate, and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Joel 2:3 says, a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them and behind them, and desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. And when we get into end time prophecies in this series, all this is going to come back to light. Okay. So again, it's just simply an intro. 47:12 says, and by the river upon the banks thereof, and on the sides, and on that side shall grow all trees for food, or technically called for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit therefore be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out in the sanctuary, the Mikdash, if you will, and the fruit thereof shall be for food or for meat, and the leaves there for what? Leaves for medicine, hence the herbs, right? Okay. You read that also in Revelations. It says, and showed me a pure river of water, life, clear crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. It's in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, where there was a tree of life, which bare 12 manners of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the trees were for the healing of the nations. Okay, great. 2:9 says, and out of the ground made Yahuah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also, where is it at? In the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, so this is in the midst of the garden. We know that in Revelation 2:7 says, he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto them. To him that overcome will I give to him to eat the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. So this paradise and this garden is being interchangeable, right? We'll see why in a minute. But it's in the midst of the paradise of where, though? Elohim, right? So question, why do you think this is important, this latter part, to know that this paradise is in the midst of Elohim? Where this place is. All right, so fast version is we're going to read just a little bit, Ksat, right? Just a little bit, that the garden, or the garden that he planted, was actually like a temple. The most set apart place was actually the Garden of Eden. Okay? All right, so we'll keep going. Jubilees 3:26 says, and he came to them, garments of skin, and they dressed them and sent them from the Garden of Eden. We know who they're referring to, Adam. It says, and on that day when Adam went out from the Garden of Eden, he offered a sweet-smelling sacrifice, frankincense, and gabanum, I don't know what that smells like, but I'll go find that. Anyway, stays and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day he covered his shame. Okay, on that day, the mouth of all the beasts and the cattle and the birds and whatever walk or move was stopped from speaking, because of all of them used to speak with one another with one speech and one language. And he sent from the Garden of Eden all the flesh which was in the Garden of Eden, and all flesh was scattered, each one according to its kind, and each one according to its family, into the place which was created for them. Okay, so once something happened, something takes place. Okay, he's out of my garden. I don't need you guys in here, right? All right. 4:23 says, and he, it's Enoch, but it doesn't say that there. I just put that in there so everyone knows who I'm referring to here. He was taken from among the children of men, and he was led him to Garden of Eden for greatness and honor. And behold, he is there writing condemnation and judgment of the world and all the evils of the children of men. And because of him, none of the water of the flood came upon the whole land of Eden. For he was put there for a sign, and so that he might bear witness against all the children of men, so that he might relate all of the deeds of the generations until the day of judgment. And he offered the incense, which is acceptable before Yahuah, in the evening at the Kodesh place at Mount Carter. And we're going to talk about that in the future. 26 says that for Yahuah had 4 sacred places on the earth. 4. We're going to talk about the 4, wait a minute. The Garden of Eden and the mountain of the east, this mountain which is upon today, Mount Sinai, and Mount Sion, okay? or you want to call it Mount what? Okay, Mount Zion, which will be sanctified or set apart in the new creation for their sanctification of the earth. On account of this, the earth will be purified from all sin and from pollution throughout the eternal generations. Jubilee 8, 18 and 19. And Noah rejoiced because their portion was assigned to Shem and for his sons, and he remembered everything which he spoke with his mouth concerning him, because he said, may Yahuah Elohim of Shem be blessed, and may Yahuah dwell in the dwelling place of Shem. And he knew, listen to what it says, that the Garden of Eden was the Kadush Kadashim, or the most set apart place, or the holies of holies, okay? And the dwelling of Yahuah. A Mount Sinai was in the midst of the desert, and Mount Zion was in the midst of the navel of the earth, meaning the heart of the earth. And these, the three of these were created as set apart places, one facing the other. Okay, very interesting to see how they were facing. I didn't have a thing to draw this to show you how the four winds and four corners and all that stuff works. But anyway, we'll keep going. 4Q 174 says the temple of Israel through their sins, and we're going to, which we'll know in the future, we're going to talk about our body being a temple. To that end, he has commanded that they build him a temple of Adam, and that in it they sacrifice to him. Proper sacrifices. As for what he said to David, I will give you rest from all your enemies. You can read that 2 Samuel 7:11. This passage means that he will give them rest from all, and it breaks off. It says, as we progress in the future lessons, take note that the Mikdash Adam, or the temple of Adam, if you will be us, right? Everyone's already read that, but we're going to see that even more. Mankind becomes a temple. If you think about it, what was in the Kadush Kadashim? What was in the most set apart place? You remember? The Ark of the Covenant, right? Great. The Ark, which housed his presence. And where you want the Father's presence at? Okay, great. And then when we put on a new body, or new bodies, if you will, what does that mean? Will this form look like the form or image of the first Adam before his fall? Question. Will our bodies glow like on Mount Transfiguration, or like Moses' face when he was in the presence of Yahuah, or possibly how Adam looked when he could have been covered with light while living in the presence of Yahuah? Right? Because when Moses was in his presence, he was glowing, right? So could you imagine Adam and them being there all the time, and they can completely go on anyway in his presence, the temple of Yahuah on the earth, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, this is another part talking about the sevenfold and the lights. You don't really need to know about that. The pattern that Moshe saw to create the temple was to let us know this already existed. These cycles of patterns seem to stem back to the garden. The origin of darkness, light, water, seed, trees, fruit, family, unity, oneness, image, likeness, power, and dominion. All of that is in the garden, okay? And he wants all that to come out. Oh, I got some time, okay. Well, we're almost closing anyway. All right, so what does Pardis mean? Pardis literally is defined as a park, enclosed like a structure or garden, right? You remember we break down Pardis, the Pei means Pashat, which means something that's literal. The Resh means something that's hinted or suggested. The Dalet means something that's, you have insight or you drash, you search some things out. And then the Sod, or the S means Sod, as in something that's in the mystery. When you sow something in the earth, you can't see it, it's like a mystery. Okay, so I put these are the levels of understanding to better equip us to understand his word. Once we understand these levels and have a sincere heart to change, only then will we have made ourselves ready. Knowing his word, but not conforming to it will not work, okay? And last but not least, the garden. Healing, Medicine in the leaves, joy and gladness will be found there in the Garden of Eden here. Water of life, fruit for food. It will be paradise. In the theme of the garden, we find seeds, trees, fruit, food, water, life, blessings, commandments, instructions, power, his presence, and the ones made in his image. So what do all of these things remind you of in the scriptures? Anyone? Okay. What he wanted on the whole earth was in the garden. Okay? He keeps rebuilding the patterns for us to see if we, his people, are ready to come back. He's trying to test us to see, are we ready for the garden? So this garden's on the outside to see if the practice ground, to see if we're ready. If we are, then we can be put back in the garden, as we see in Revelation chapter 2. All right. So any questions pertaining to the lesson?